I see it, George. It's coming into the darkness right now. You can hold here if you want. He'll come right at us. Assignment desk, we are on it, but we're not going to have the map for this one, so no speedometer. This is believed to be carjacking suspects inside of this Ford F-150. It was taken at gunpoint from the rightful owner. They even shot at the rightful owner. At this point, it's unknown how that person is doing. Hopefully he or she wasn't hit, but at this point, it is unknown. He is committing to the southbound 5 here from the 14. So again, from the Newhall Pass, all the way from Lancaster, and now entering the San Fernando Valley. So the car itself, again, described as a Ford F-150, taken at gunpoint. And apparently they used that gun against the... Oh, shots fired, they just said. Wow. The officers are saying that the suspects opened fire on them. He's losing one tire here, maybe even two. Apparently he did run over a spike strip.
All right, breaking news tonight, and that very dark shot you see is looks like a truck that is being pursued in the San Fernando Valley, Sepulveda Boulevard, and Sylmar in the Granada Hills area. You see him going off the road and back on it. We're told that this is a carjacking suspect out of the Lancaster area. You see him being lit up by the lights from the police helicopter. This is the southbound I-5 in the Granada Hills area. Now the driver of that pickup truck looks like they're exiting the freeway. So we're not clear when this all began. Again, we're just told it was a carjacking suspect in the Lancaster area. Not driving particularly fast, in fact, almost stopping at that intersection. There you see him on surface streets, navigating his way through that intersection. Yeah, not clear how many people are in that vehicle. Looks like he's going the wrong way on a one-way street. Very dangerous, obviously. He's going onto the freeway in the wrong direction. Wow. Those drivers, of course, not sure what to do. It's not clear whether we look at he's trying to stop or whether, now passenger doors open. Attempted carjacking. Wow, this is not good. Doors locked. That was smart. Now they're getting back in. Wow, this is a wild one. Driver continuing onto the freeway on the off-ramp. We don't have control of the helicopter just yet, so we can't ask them to widen out to see where the police cars or the CHP are in relation to that vehicle, obviously being lit up quite well with that sun gun. All right, now they're out of the vehicle again. They're going to try to carjack that truck. Wow. Police are choosing to obviously stay, and back off at this point rather than move in when they're jumping out of the vehicle. Now they're going off the freeway. It looks like an on-ramp. It's tough to know precisely what exit they're on. It looks like, is it that left front tire that's shredded? Yeah, front left tire is shredded. We don't know whether they hit a spike strip from earlier. Now that wow. All right, so it looks like the suspects that were being pursued jumped out. You see the driver of that 18-wheeler jumped out of his truck. And now they're going to back it up. Some type of tanker truck. Wow. Where is the CHP? We're not sure where the CHP is in this. All right, we're joined on the phone by Tim Lynn. Tim, are you watching this?
I am, Phil. This has been unusual. That's really a dangerous pursuit here. Now, carjacking with this big rig, with that tank, as you were mentioning, it's unknown what is in there.
So, where are the authorities in this one? I know the shot's fairly close up, but they just wanted to wait and watch and see what happens. Did you not escalate the situation?
The speeds at this point, it's a little bit of an uphill climb here at Calgrove. Looks like we might be getting off at Calgrove. Now, this is going to take it down on the surface streets, and this completely changes the dynamic of this pursuit.
I mean, I know police, the sheriffs, as a matter of fact, I did one at the sheriff's driving facility out there in Castaic, and the CHP, they train for pursuits all the time, but do they train to pursue a vehicle like this big? And did they do anything differently?
Not any pursuit classes that I've been through have we talked about chasing big rigs. I mean, it's not a whole lot different chasing a big rig as it is chasing a small vehicle. But it's just, you have to flex with what's going on. Just thinking of you here, getting back on the freeway. You have to flex with what you have. As a police officer, you must adapt to what's going on in front of you. If you're chasing a small vehicle, high rate of speed, or if you're chasing a vehicle this size, low rates of speed, you do what you can to maintain the safety on the road for the public that's around them. You try not to do anything that's going to cause it to become a bigger deal. Communicate with your officers around. They get a tactical plan set up to figure out what they're going to do next. A lot of people get together and come up with ideas here to figure out what they plan to do.
I'm not talking about gasoline, the fuel, the liquid. I'm talking about some kind of gas itself. What could be inside a tank like this? Because it does not look like an ordinary fuel tank being pulled by this truck. And that introduces another level of danger. You have a several-ton truck making its way at high speeds, stolen. You don't know what these drivers are going to do. And then you have the added danger of what is inside this tanker.
Well, right, and keep in mind, we initially got this report just before 10:40 this evening, because this driver was armed. This driver was shooting at CHP officers. That's what that initial report came in as.
This is not a normal fuel tanker, a gasoline, which is a little wider, a little more oblong at most times. This is a long cylindrical tube, for a lack of a better term. It could have some kind of cryogenic, some cold freeze. It could have some kind of gas, natural gas on board, and that, of course, introduces yet another level of danger. Here we have a carjacked 18-wheeler with some kind of trailer with unknown substance inside.
Because of the circumstances with this one being shots fired, armed suspects, there's no question about that now. You're going to have multi black and whites behind this thing. And one thing I always mention is that every agency would prefer to have their own officers involved in the post-incident when the vehicle comes to a stop, which eventually it is going to happen. This way you're all playing off the same rule book.
Now it looks like we see a cruiser just passing over to the left side, and the big rig is slowing down here. We're in the Westlake area. But now, because of this situation, it's forced really all parties in this case, as it looks like it's almost veering over to the 10, though hard to tell there, Dave. But you're in this situation where there's nothing you can do.
Well, I mean, what is the end game here?
No.
You've got to be wondering where they think this is going to go and how they think this is going to end, well for them.
Who knows? Let's see. They're going to be it's like they're taking the exit to the right through the 110 freeway.
You don't see a lot of cars, and that goes back to your earlier point, Dave, about how you see law enforcement jumping behind and at least being an alert system for any other sort of driver on the road to say, hey, keep an eye out for this because we're in the middle of this pursuit. It's incredibly dangerous, and you need to know that this is not just your typical big rig truck that's on the highway right now.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we're not going to go down San Pedro. It looks like we're going to either go Venice or we're going to head east and see what he does here. I think he's veering more to the left, so I think he is going to head eastbound on the 10.
Oh. You have to, I mean, just these,
taking an exit here.
taking the exits, but also now involving more unaware. Those officers maybe trying to get ahead of this. They can't predict where these guys are going. And so that just adds yet another element of unpredictability.
Especially because now, you know, when we brought up earlier when the truck started turning around and going back sort of where we started this whole situation, we assumed that perhaps they were going just to an area because we've seen pursuits, Dave, where you know, these vehicles, these suspects get in the vehicles, drive back to an area, and in some cases even jump out and get into a different vehicle that a friend or somebody else was waiting for them, and it just continues, or they're going 30 miles an hour to 40 miles an hour on these surface streets that they know very well, burning through red lights, except now in this case, it's expanded to such a degree that I don't think we've really seen before, especially not with the context of this milk caller, and now it's been so wide and so vast that it's now turning into sort of a war of attrition, is that who is going to give up first, and really, the who, we know who, it's just a matter of when.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're sticking to the big streets. I'm not sure what he's going to do here. I'm not.
Oh boy.
Remember, I'm about 12 seconds, 13 seconds behind you.
It is slowing down here in Central City to the points where, you know, it's okay, now we got to make this turn at 10 miles an hour because you don't really have any other option. And I'm wondering if maybe they're trying to find a way back on the highway. I don't know if this was a mistake or not.
It started in the Antelope Valley and continued southbound on the 5 freeway onto the 170 and out to the 101 and to the 110, beginning with a first carjacking of a truck shooting at, according to authorities, shooting at one of the victims whose truck they carjacked.
Look at, you know, where exactly they were, that 3rd Street. There we go.
And there it is.
Yeah,
you know, it's a situation where, you know, and you see those wide turns. I mean, it is not an easy thing to maneuver in this situation.
We got our double yellows again, so he's back on the right side, but that was very hairy right there. That looked like I was just hoping nobody was going to come around that, because that's a freeway exit right there.
When he slows down, is this the moment?
It's hard to tell.
I know, or is there a red light?
The building's in the way, or now adhering to traffic laws, or of the matter. But now, you know, there we go, speeding up just past 10 miles an hour. But again, not going very fast right now. And a lot of this does have to do with there's a lot more congestion in this area, whether or not there's traffic, right? Because then it's the added element of having to drive a vehicle of this size and move it around these very tight areas and windows with law enforcement in pursuit.
The airship might have lost sight of him here through the buildings at times, but because they have all those units behind them, they were able to quickly re-engage with their ground officers. That officer, they're really not giving this guy much in the way of room. He is right on his tail, just in case this guy decides to go wrong way, which he has done, so that the officers don't have to go wrong way with him. They have these other officers on nearby streets that can get behind him and go the right way. But this is, Figueroa and Wilshire. It's going to be a tough turn there for him. He's going to go right under us here for just a second, so pardon the shot.
Going slowly through this part of town, and I think this is what this guy has been doing for the last 10 minutes, is just randomly picking streets.
You witnessed, Eliana, one of those frightening moments when one of the suspects, at least one of the suspects, confronted the driver, or maybe more than one driver of a big rig, and that driver wisely decided to withdraw.
He initially tried to carjack a small little white vehicle. Thankfully, that person had his or her windows and doors closed, so they weren't able to get access to the car. So they moved on. They moved on to another big rig, but that big rig driver just bolted out of there.
Walk us through why they would or wouldn't use spike strips for a vehicle of this size.
Well, first of all, the spike strips themselves, they don't punch holes in them. What they do is when they run over those spikes, there are tubes inside. And then the tubes will stay in, they'll go over and they'll stay inside the tires. And what it's designed to do is to slowly let the air out. But these are huge tires. Now, I've seen them use them on other big trucks, not a diesel, not a big rig like this. We are actually getting on the freeway the wrong way.
I hate to interrupt you. I just want to, he's going the wrong way now, or was going the wrong way at least, for a moment there. This is much of that same behavior we
there,
see.
yeah.
This is what he was doing, was trying to drive on the shoulder of the road at the beginning of this pursuit.
Yep.
I'm not even sure you're able to do that. Cars, okay, looks like getting back off the freeway. Thankfully, that does not put all these cars out of imminent danger, as cars might be still traveling at a high rate of speed there. You see one able to pull over to the side as this truck continues to drive in the wrong direction. This is now an on-ramp going the wrong direction off the freeway, back onto Newton Street, onto side streets, thankfully avoiding collisions. That could have been a dangerous calamity, and now we're looking at the portion, I believe, under the 10 freeway. This might be around the portion where the fire broke out. I'm just going to look
exactly right.
Yeah, this Jack in the Box is right across the street from where that devastating fire broke out under the freeway here, trying to make a turn. A vehicle of this size cannot do this easily. Wow. Was there contact made? There could have been contact made. We'll see what this car does if they...
Someone just hopped out of the...
Yep.
They both
hopped
out.
Drivers getting out, trying to carjack another vehicle and able to do so. It looks like doors are open on a white pickup truck. I did not see anyone emerge from that vehicle and now driving in this car. So a white pickup truck, again, this happened earlier in an earlier pursuit where it went into an underpass, one car entered, another car emerged. We don't know if these guys just carjacked another vehicle or whether they had one waiting for them, but now traveling in their third vehicle, and there go, passing law enforcement vehicles, unaware that they are now pursuing a different vehicle. This is the third vehicle we have seen since picking up this pursuit. Now it looks like getting back onto the freeway, and this should be back on the 10 freeway eastbound in a new vehicle, and we are waiting to see anyone in law enforcement pick this up, because as of right now, they have not done so. Oftentimes, I can tell you, they are watching this pursuit. Law enforcement is watching this pursuit at headquarters, and as long as we have it, they will eventually pick this up by watching our broadcast. This began about an hour ago in the Palmdale, Lancaster area in another pickup truck. At times going the wrong way on the 5 freeway, that vehicle ended its portion of the pursuit by going the wrong direction on an on-ramp to the 5 freeway. They tried to carjack one big rig that did not have a trailer. That driver was able to back up out of danger, but they continued on carjacking a tanker truck, which we believe now is a milk tanker, taking that from the northern portion of the valley up towards Newhall, taking that down the 5 freeway onto the 170, which becomes the 101 freeway through Hollywood, through downtown, onto the 110 south, and then circling around downtown LA for about 20 minutes before emerging, going the wrong direction onto the 10 freeway just south of downtown Los Angeles, going the wrong direction, getting out and either carjacking or having a vehicle waiting for them, now the third vehicle in this white pickup truck. They might have just gotten off. Yep, they have gotten off the freeway now.
You take a deep breath, and you're now back into a typical pursuit scenario. We're in Boyle Heights right now on East 4th Street.
So now in Boyle Heights, 6th and Chicago, turning left onto 6th Street.
The left, right, left turns. I don't know how they could have planned to have somebody there.
So
Now I'm just hoping that there's not a victim inside that thing, or it's now a kidnap suspect. You know, they just added to the charges. You just keep piling up.
Good point. I didn't even think about that this is another what would this be, a third carjacking?
We really haven't seen any of those patrol cars come up close to this truck like we saw while they were in that milk tanker earlier.
Yeah, that spotlight's still firmly on this truck. Law enforcement is still in connection with this truck.
There's no shortage of questions and of things that could still happen as this pickup is now stopping right now. Car doors are opening, and it looks like it's hard to tell if that driver got out and now it's just getting back in. And here we go.
I mean, you almost wonder if they just did a switch of drivers, if maybe the person who was in the passenger seat, I mean, he got out of the back of the car, it appeared, and got into the front driver's side.
Yes.
I mean, this is bizarre.
And here we go. Now we're on the street. If the sheriff unit, the air units overhead, and LAPD are, be above them, and they'll be relaying to the LA coppers about the pursuit.
You'll hit the Dodger Stadium area if you continue on here far enough. Mission Road now making a right onto Mission. So now heading northbound.
War of patience on both sides,
Sure.
particularly law enforcement, because just when you think, as this car now is
Does a U-turn.
flipping around.
At least the airship is up above. They are continuing to follow, and now we're seeing it turn once again, going the opposite direction now.
Yes, and then the driving or the direction of these suspects has gotten, assuming these are the suspects, okay, now this seems like the third or fourth time these are the suspects that that law enforcement was pursuing that were in this big rig, but we believe transferred to this white vehicle.